Okay, the first part of the scale drawing, the first part of the scale drawing lab for this week, this last week actually, this will be our last lab. We are doing, you're going to measure your bedroom. You're going to do some things with your bedroom. So first thing you need to do is you need to find your dimensions, and we're going to be measuring in, inches, feet, and yards. One of those. You need to get one of those. I would suggest getting a ruler or a yardstick, a tape measure. Now, here's the thing. Occasionally, when I have done these things, I have had students that when they get home, they find out that they actually don't have anything to measure with. If that is your case, okay, then you can use your own foot or your own hand as long as you have a unit that you use throughout the project. You're using the same thing. If you need to, then just get in touch with me so we can figure out for the end problems when you're doing carpeting and painting and sealing, how that would work out. But I mean, originally, that's where a foot came from. It was the king's foot, and the inch was part of his finger, between the two knuckles. That was his inch. So, that's where those measurements came from. Okay, and so you'll notice you're not only just finding the width, the height, and the length. You need to find the floor perimeter. Remember, that is around the outside edge. The floor area, length times width. Total wall area. Okay, so that would be all four walls. I'm assuming your room has all four walls. And then the ceiling area. Okay, and then in number 2, you're going to draw a sketch. And in 2, you're drawing a sketch, and in 3, you're drawing a scale drawing. But it is always good practice to draw a sketch first. You need to, just get a kind of sloppy, messy, whatever, drawing, paint a representation of what you're going to do on the scale drawing. It's like brainstorming ideas before you solve a problem. Okay, so you're going to draw a sketch. Make sure you show the measurements in the sketch and your work. You can attach the sketch to this lab in classroom at the end. You'll also need it for your Flipgrid. So we talked about the dimensions, and we talked about the sketch. And you remember we talked a lot about what a sketch was. It was not exact, but it does have everything I need to move forward. Okay, so now we're going to do, number 3 is you're going to do a, okay, so to be clear, the scale drawing, we've done these in class, and you need to make sure you have the scale. You want to make sure you note the scale. What is the scale? So if I'm on graph paper, is one cell or one box, is that worth a foot? Is it worth 6 feet? Is it worth 6 inches? Make sure you have that written down on your scale drawing, and then also on the lab paper. Make sure that you are showing the ratio between the scale measurement and the exact measurement. So if my scale is one cell on the graph paper, one box, one unit for a foot, and my actual room is, maybe 12 feet, then on there I'm going to write that the length is 12 boxes or 12 cells or 12 units to 12 feet. So I'm seeing what those measurements are and how you figured out how to do the scale drawing. So you need to make sure that you're writing the scale, and then you're writing the ratio. Okay, the ratio of the scale to the real. What's real? How big is it really, and how did I draw it on my scale drawing? Okay, then we're in 4, 5, and 6, we're going to use some of the information we have. So a couple things to remember. In 4, you're going to use carpet for the floor, and on 5 and 6, you're going to talk about painting the walls and the ceiling. One thing to remember, and if you've ever done any kinds of projects like this at home with your parents, you know that carpet is sold by the square yard. It's sold by the square yard, and regardless of how many yards you need, you have to buy it in square yards. So if I need less than a square yard, they're not going to cut it down for me. I have to say how many square yards I'm going to actually buy. So you'll have your measurements for the floor, okay? And then you'll have to convert them, if you haven't done them in yards, to yards, okay, square yards, and then you'll have to decide how much you're going to purchase. I want to also say that remember that a square yard is a yard by a yard. And that's, you know how terrible my pictures are. This is 1 yard by 1 yard, okay? It isn't 1 linear yard. This is, you know, a linear yard, okay? This is 1 yard, but this over here is 1 square yard. So this is also 3 feet, and this is 3 feet. So this square yard is 9 square feet. Okay, and this yard over here is 3 feet. Okay, but there is a big difference between 1 yard and 1 square yard. 1 square yard is a space that is 3 feet by 3 feet. So when you're doing your conversions, you really need to remember that. You can't just divide the feet by 3 and get yards. Not if you're doing square yard. Okay, and the same thing is going to be true in the painting, because the gallons are in square feet. How many square feet does it cover? Okay, and so that is you know, those are square feet, not a regular feet. So if we go then by like another drawing here, you're going to have, this is a square foot, okay, that this is going to be 12 inches by 12 inches. So while this is 1 square foot, okay, it is actually 144 square inches. And so you need to make sure you're taking that into consideration when you are deciding how much carpet you need and how much painting you need. And the walls in the 6 is ceiling, and in most houses the ceiling is a different color. It's mostly a light white color. It keeps the room bright, and so that's why those are separated. If you have any questions, you need to get in touch with me, but this is the first part of the lab for week 8. Okay, good job. A scale drawing. You on it